Elden Ring is known for a lot of things. Its exploration, its difficulty, its maidens. Okay, not that type of maiden, but one aspect that I think often gets overlooked are its weapons. And with a whopping 30 different weapon types with an extra 8 from the DLC, there's bound to be some weapons that just aren't as good as the others, which is where the beast claws come in. These weapons both look cool and feel cool to use, but sadly the general consensus around them is that they're pretty mid. Just look at every DLC weapon type tier list. They're almost always at the bottom of the list, just above the perfume bottles and the smith's cut daggers, which honestly isn't saying much because those weapons just don't do that much damage. But I refuse to believe a weapon that looks this good can end up being so mid in the actual game, which is why I decided to beat the entire DLC with only beast claws to prove that they're actually overpowered. But I couldn't just use the beast claws without making a character that actually makes me feel like Wolverine himself. Yes, looks just like him. Now that I was done with my masterpiece, I could finally head towards Limgrave. And once I was there, I had a checklist of things that I needed to do. First was to get Torrent. After that, I needed a strong early game weapon. But what good is a weapon if you don't even have the stats for it?
2 hours later.
Next thing I had in mind was to upgrade my weapon as much as I could. And I had planned to go up all the way to +9 until I realized they patched the Volcano Mana jump, which meant there was only one way to get the Somber Smithing Stone 7. Yeah, in retrospect, it would have been way easier to just fight Margit and Godric first, but honestly, the feeling of having a +9 weapon going into the Margit fight is just too good to be true. But now that I had a +9 weapon, Margit, Godric, and even Radahn were light work. Now, all that was left was to complete Vara's questline and fight the Lord of Blood himself. But you see, in my previous playthrough, this fight did not go so well. Let's just say I severely underestimated Mohg. Last time I fought him, it was with a really underleveled weapon, really bad healing, and no good talismans to boot. This time, however, I was going to fight him prepared. So I started exploring and found a couple of good items. First, I got this turtle shield which increases your stamina recovery speed. Then I got a couple of golden seeds and sacred tears. And I also decided to go get the talismans for the beast claws because they work just fine for the Reduvia, so why not just get them from now? And the first one that I needed was from him.
Just give me a good and I'll pop. Don't dally. Give it your all, eh? Gosh!
Okay, I know this might look bad, because it is, but I needed a talisman, and I wasn't going to go through his entire questline for the upgraded version, so look, I'm sorry Alexander, but I'm going to have to kill you right now. Look Alexander, I'm sorry, this is hurting me more than it is hurting you, mentally at least. Physically, I think we know who's hurting more. But hey, on the bright side, at least the next talisman was from an actual enemy. Now I didn't need to cause any harm to any friendly NPCs anymore. Okay, I lied. I also killed Millicent. Look, I needed a talisman, but her questline just took too long. I'm sorry Millicent, but it had to be done. Man, this one hurt. Now the two most friendly NPCs are no more. I say it as if I wasn't the one who caused it. Anyways, while I was there, I beat both Morgoth and Godfrey for the extra talisman slot. And then I ghosted Melina. Okay, what's this playthrough? It's already the most evil playthrough I've played. You know what? I'ma just fight Mohg. That was way faster than last time. Granted, I did fight him with a fully upgraded weapon, which damage-wise definitely helped. But now that Mogan were done with it, this meant only one thing. I managed to make it to the DLC, which meant my plan of becoming Wolverine in Elden Ring could finally commence. And of course, it started by killing another NPC. This time, however, it was self-defense. Come on, he swung first. Anyways, now that I had my beast claws, all I needed to do was upgrade them like my Reduvia. And getting the smithing stones was actually easier than I expected. And now that I had access to the DLC, even the ancient smithing stone was easy to find. The only stones that gave me a problem were the smithing stone 8s. I thought I could find all of them in the lands between, but it turns out most of them are locked behind a stele, and I wasn't going to complete Wani's questline just for a couple of smithing stone 8s. So I decided to look for some in the DLC. And what do you know, the ruined forges had some smithing stone 8s, and it still wasn't enough. I still needed 4 more, and I'll admit, this was the first time I got stuck in this playthrough. The only way I could see myself getting more smithing stone 8s was if I fought the fire giant, and that boss is really annoying. That was until I stumbled upon a place called Fort Weaponman, because it turns out behind it there are exactly 4 smithing stone 8s. Now I had enough to get myself fully upgraded beast claws, and with this I think I'm ready for the first remembrance boss of the DLC, the Divine Lion. I mean, honestly, not bad. If I keep this up, he'll be dead in no time. Really? How is he even considered alive at this point? Like, I bet he only has like 20 health left. Man, this is such a joke.
Cleanse away the strumpet's vile progeny.
Honestly, the fight wasn't as bad as I was expecting. At first I thought the weapon's range was going to be a problem, but if you see just how far you can go with the dash attacks, the range doesn't really matter anymore. And I also thought these weapons were going to be deceptively fast without actually being fast, if that makes sense. But there were a lot of instances where I could get 2 hits off and still not get damaged. So personally, against the Divine Lion, these claws get an 8 out of 10. But there was no time to waste. I still had to go to Castle Ensis for my next boss. And on my way there, a couple of interesting stuff happened. First, I bonded with my turtle family, then I spotted some enemies, who I just had to assert my dominance on. I also said hello to an old friend. Yeah, all of them were chasing me, even my old friend. Okay, I keep calling him that because I straight up cannot pronounce his name. But finally, I made it to Rellana. And whatever I said about the Divine Lion, just throw it out the window because none of it works for her. Which is telling enough on how this went. First attempt, yeah, it did not go so well. Neither did the second attempt, nor the third attempt, nor the fourth attempt. Yeah, I think you can get where this is going. And even when I did win, it still took damn near 7 minutes. There's no way I'm showing the whole fight, so I'll just show the parts that I think look decent. Oh boy, do I have things to say about this boss. First, her openings do not let you get more than one attack off, unless you want to get hit with a 10 move combo. Furthermore, remember when I said the dash attacks help with the weapon's short range? Well, for this boss, you can only dash attack for certain openings, and this boss has pretty long swords, so if you're doing your normal attacks, the likelihood of getting hit is pretty high, and above all else, I did absolutely no damage to her. So on my 5th or so attempt, I realized I had to rely more on my bleed damage, which sucked because I didn't even bleed that often. Yeah, I think it's safe to say with the Beast Claws, this guy is way harder than the Divine Lion. So personally, against Rellana, I give the Beast Claws a 4 out of 10. Hopefully the next 18-inch boss doesn't go as bad. Oh wait, I forgot, there was still one more boss before Messmer, the boss that I wouldn't even want Sabretooth to fight, and he's like my arch nemesis, isn't he? Yes, I am indeed talking about the hippo, who is in fact optional, but I needed this Caducci fragment, so hey, here we go I guess. Damn, first try? I was not expecting that. Okay, it took me more than one try, but it still took me less attempts than both Rellana and the Divine Lion, which means if I were to give it a score, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Now I know I said it was easier than the Divine Lion, but giving the hippo a higher score than 7? Dude, I would rather fight the fire giant. Anyways, now that the hippo has been dealt with, I could finally go back to my favorite pastime, bullying fire knights. But besides fighting the Fire Knights and helping Hornsent, the Shadowkeep honestly wasn't that eventful, and before I knew it, I was here.
Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
Yeah, as you would expect, the fight went really well. What else can I say? Messmer is just a really good boss. You could be using your fist and still have fun with him. Hey yo, pause. But yeah, even with the beast claws, you ticked all of the boxes for me. First, I did enough damage to not rely on my bleed. Then, I could actually use my dash attacks on him. And his openings were also long enough for me to get 2 hits off. But most importantly, his spear doesn't even reach 18 inches, which means the likelihood of him hitting me, well, it's still pretty high, but not as high as Rellana, which that alone makes him worthy of my first 10 out of 10. Now, off to the next. Oh yeah, I forgot I did his quest line. This means he'll help me now, right? Well, the answer was no, because I kinda messed it up. You see, you're supposed to summon him in the Messmer fight, which I kinda knew, but I thought as long as you helped him against Lida, he would help you no matter what. But nah, now he's just pissed that I'm the one who killed Messmer and not him. Yeah, I should have probably just killed him when I had the chance. And what's even worse, I now had to go through this place. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, I just end up skipping most of it. Hey, at least the boss is kinda fun, or should I say it was kinda fun, because lately I've been disliking this boss more and more. Don't get me wrong, I think she's one of the more balanced bosses in the DLC, but whenever she whips out the moves that I think are pretty BS, it's a load of hooey. Like I swear it's this one move that keeps getting me over and over again. Mind you, none of this is about the beast claws. It's just my personal grudge against this queen-line looking ass. However, after a couple of pretty miserable failed attempts, I was finally able to dodge that one move that kept killing me. And in all honesty, the beast claws didn't do that bad. The claws did miss her a couple of times, but with a hitbox like that, I'm pretty sure most weapons would too. Anyways, if I were to give 4K's Kompian and Snatchka an unbiased score, I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. But this meant there was only one main boss left. But before I got to them, I needed some more Scaducci fragments. And the first place that I looked at was Commander Gaius. And the beast claws did pretty decent against him, 7 out of 10. Dang, my bad, I didn't see you there. Let me just... Hey, thanks for the pants. Then I fought a boss that I truly despised. I even told myself to never come back to this boss ever again. Yeah, you guessed it, it was the hippo. Look man, I just really wanted this Kadutri fragment, and I fought this guy 3 more times. And no, I still hate them. I just think their moveset might not be as bad as I thought it was. Anyways, all of that got me all the way up to Kadutri level 16, which I thought was enough for the final boss. I was finally here, Enir Illim, the last legacy dungeon of the DLC, and the only thing that stands between me and them. The only issue? This place kinda sucks. You've got no clue how many times I've almost got eaten by this guy. And he can jump too? My guy, you ain't the Godskin Noble. And what's worse, after you deal with them, these mini divine lions just show up out of nowhere. Hey, at least I have my mimic with me. Yo, why is he using the shield? You don't even have the stats for that. Man, I used the mimic tail once and it does this. You know what? I'ma just fight the Mikela Sims.
For the dignity of my lord and master, Mo.
Normally, I would say it was a hard-fought battle, but let's be real here, this was not hard-fought in the slightest. But now that Lida was dead, I could finally fight the boss that I've been dreading the most. And the final boss went as well as you would expect. You know what? I died so many times, I'll just show a montage of me dying to the final boss that I've already made for a previous video. It's not stealing content if you're taking it from your own channel, is it?
Mikela, stop. Don't turn the poor thing into a god.
Okay, now that was something else. This was by far the best Wadon fight I've ever had, and it only took me 1 day this time. Okay, that might seem like a long time, but trust me, the last time I fought Wadon, it took me way more days to beat him. Okay, but what about the Beast Claws? Were they good against the final boss? While it is doable, I highly recommend against it. First of all, these claws do not do that much damage to him, and even though a bleed did kill him, it doesn't really happen that often. And what's worse, these claws do not have that much range. And to top it all off, the boss is just really hard, so yeah, good luck with all of that. Anyways, for the score, I give it a 4 out of 10. It's not bad, but there are better options out there.